It's the show of the week.
Hello, welcome back to Show of the Week, the weekly segment where we talk musical theater and where I wear flannel. This week, let's talk about Dear Evan Hansen. So I saw Dear Evan Hansen in previews on Broadway. You can't listen to it yet. It's not going to be in the Spotify playlist right now, but I'll put a couple links to some performances that you can watch. But this was a really moving show. Now, I think you'll enjoy this show most if you know as little as possible about it going in. And so this is going to be a spoiler-free rundown. You've got nothing to worry about, but of course, the songs are fabulous. Pasek and Paul are wonderful, beautiful authors. But I think one of the most fabulous parts of this show is the book, is the core of the plot. This show is a lot like if Next to Normal and Heathers had a contemporary musical theater baby. And one of the things I think this show does so well, a lot of pieces of work about kids, about the youth, seem inauthentic because they're written by adults. They're written by people who are so far removed from that experience that they think they know what it's like, but they don't really have a good grasp on the problems affecting today's 18 and under crowd. This show gets kids, gets teenagers, gets high school life in a really authentic feeling and important way. It also addresses some really heavy issues. I'm not going to go into it spoiler-free, but in a very truthful and honest way. But I think one of the most interesting things about this show is going to be its context in the current world of musical theater. So I saw this back-to-back with Great Comet, and Great Comet, as Jimmy and I have said way too many times, breaks outside of the bounds of musical theater in a whole lot of ways. Dear Evan Hansen very squarely sits inside the bounds of a traditional book musical and just uses that form very, very well. And so when Tony time comes around, I think we're going to be seeing a pretty hot competition between the non-traditional form-breaking Great Comet and the rule-abiding, moving, stunning Dear Evan Hansen. It'll be a race to watch. That's all I've got. Dear Evan Hansen. When you can, go listen to it, and I'll see you next week. I'm in a hallway in the basement of my apartment building because my boyfriend works nights right now and I don't want to wake him up. But that's not what I want to talk about on this end screen. What I want to talk about on this end screen is politics. So if that's not your thing, go watch a video about puppies or something. Usually, so you've tuned in to watch me, and that's great and fabulous, and I feel like I have this responsibility to give advice from time to time or like have the answers to things, but this falls into this world of like bullshitty artist kind of stuff, like, oh, your life's so hard, you're an artist and you can't find your creativity, and like that bugs me too. But since November 8th, it's been difficult to make things and find creativity, and at first glance it seems kind of bullshitty, but then, you know, the talk of politics and the talk of the fallout of the election are everywhere. You can't open your Facebook, you can't open Reddit, you can't talk with a friend without someone bringing it up. And not that we shouldn't be bringing it up, because it's important that we talk about these things, but it becomes very draining and it's hard to use that creative part of your brain when you're so sapped with all the other stuff. I think, at least in my circle, and we all live in our bubbles, and it's clearly becoming more and more of a problem how isolated we all are. But in my world, one of the things I'm the most afraid of is this trend towards nihilism. Everyone's like, well, it doesn't matter anymore, I might as well not. Well, this isn't gonna matter anymore, I might as well not do this, like, or I might as well not do that. And I feel that too, and it's disheartening, and it's hard to put into words, and of course you have to keep going. I guess maybe that's the advice I have to give. We gotta keep going and keep trying, but I acknowledge that it's hard. I feel the difficulty there. It's, you know, it's bleeding into every part of my life. There are kids at my school who have now feel as if they've been given permission to openly use racial bullying against their peers, which is awful and not the kind of place I want to work in and not the kind of America I want to live in, and it's all new, and no one has the answers, which that's one of the more disheartening things about it. I don't have the answers. Even the political experts are arguing about what this means and what that means and what could happen next and what could happen now and what we should do next. I guess what I'm trying to say is we have to keep making art even though it's hard, even though our minds are preoccupied with all sorts of other things. And I'll keep trying if you keep trying. Deal? Great. See you later.